It all kind of fell into place. We started off, we did a music video for Chin Check and Stay Gutter, and we did Martyr because we were playing a live show. We were like, well, let's film the live show. So we did 3 within that week, and we didn't have any plans to do any more after that. But like with the way everything was going, it's like things change in the industry so quick that it's like hard to catch on to them sometimes. And it's like we felt like we caught that wave of what was happening, so we were like, we're gonna just capitalize on this right now and like just put out content.
Real quick before we start, I just wanted to mention that we do these podcast recordings live on Twitch. It's kind of a cool way for you guys to be a part of the conversation, as well as see the behind the scenes and the uncut versions of these episodes. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribing, leaving a comment, liking the video, all that stuff goes a long way. Same goes for leaving a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We have a striving community on Discord if you want to chat with other like-minded deathcore enjoyers, as well as just staying up to date with everything that's going on with the podcast. Last but not least, if you want to support the podcast, I'll be leaving a link down in the description wherever you are watching or listening on how you can do so, as well as links to everything else that I just talked about. With that out of the way, enjoy this episode. Welcome to episode 57 of the Brutality podcast. My name is Dom, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Yan. And this week we have the pleasure of talking to a man that's been busy. He's been super busy this year. We've got so much to talk about. We have Dustin from the band Filth. Dustin, my man, how are we feeling today? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Just kicking it.
Just kicking it? Hell yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Dude, we've got so much to talk about here. I mean, you guys have been really busy this year. Southern Hospitality just came out in the month of April. You guys went on Summer Slaughter. You guys done 3 whole ass legs of a headline tour. You guys have 2 super cool upcoming tours as well. So let's kind of start there. How's the year been for you? Because I feel like, as much as the band's been going on for a hot minute now, I was looking into it. You guys have been around for like 10 years at this point. I feel like, something's different this year. Things are going well for you guys this year. How's it been for you? How's the year been?
It's been awesome, man. We started in April, the first leg of the Southern Hostility tour. Did 3 parts, Southeast, Northeast, and Midwest. And then we were home for like 3 days and started Summer Slaughter. And like things have been like crazy here lately. It's been awesome.
That's wow. Yeah, because you guys, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, you guys weren't initially announced on Summer Slaughter, and you guys got it added on a little bit further down the line after the announcement, right? It just kind of happened that you guys were able to line it up because your headline tour would have lasted a few more days, and it would have, maybe cut off the opportunity, right? But how'd that all kind of come together doing Summer Slaughter? Did you guys know prior, or was it kind of a last minute thing?
It was on like the second leg when we found out, and or when we got the offer, and we were like, how can you say no to that? Like,
yeah.
So we were like, all right, we're going to be gone for 30 more days, but whatever.
So as you guys were on tour, you guys got the opportunity to 3 days after coming back from said tour, hop straight onto Summer Slaughter. Holy shit. So you guys I'm assuming you guys had logistically probably a lot to deal with too, just in terms of getting more merch and all this stuff to prep for Summer Slaughter prior, but you guys were like doing all this on tour.
Yeah, and our van broke down, and we had to get a rental. And then we started Summer Slaughter in a rental. We were driving it's like a 2020 Ford F-150 because that's all they had. They had no vans that we could rent. So yeah, it was trailer and a Ford F-150.
So you guys weren't sleeping too well, I assume.
Slept like hell. It was awful. But we made it though. We made it through.
How was Summer Slaughter? I'm curious, just because I know there was a lot of sort of a quote unquote controversy around the tour. Ever since it kind of got announced in the lineup, but then of course you guys were a part of that lineup. So what's how was it actually being at the shows and stuff? How did Summer Slaughter go?
It was fun. It was definitely a different experience. Like load in was crazy early, like 10 a.m. Like I don't know, but you get to see so many like good bands like every day. Like some bands that I had already been listening to. It was surreal just to be asked to be a part of it. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, because that was a
Like
pretty long tour, and the lineup was dope. It was aside from the preconceptions of what people would have thought, a real Summer Slaughter lineup would have been, quote unquote,
Yeah.
The cast of bands was a cool lineup of bands,
Yeah, it was, man. Like people get stuck in the past. They want that nostalgia factor because that's what everything is now. And there are other bands that are trying to do the same shit that, excuse my language, but the same shit that everybody else did back in the day. We're all trying to grind, try to be those bands that people look back and like, are like, yo, this band should be on this package. Why are they not? The same thing with those guys, like all the other bands they wanted.
Yeah, because the funny thing over time is it's kind of a circle thing. Like now you look at the old flyers and you see like Suicide Silence, Carnifex, and all those bands, and we're like, oh my god, that's legendary and stuff like that. But those bands back in the days were getting a lot of negativity around them, and like, oh my god, I fully remember they were, I'm not a big hater in general, so I didn't really do it myself, but like I would see all these comments online kind of shitting on all those bands, and today they're looked at as legends, right? So it's always kind of just people don't understand that like time, it's like their perspective, when they announce a festival or something, they're kind of expecting something from the past, but if they would have been there in the past, maybe even then their opinion would have been different. That's kind of how I see it personally.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it's funny because it's like the shit that we'll be nostalgic for, in 15 years is happening right now, right? So it's like,
yep,
it's and I think
that's
we should take things for what it is. Yeah. Like when you have like a lineup, and instead of thinking about like what it should be, like just think it of was what it is. If you like the bands, if you feel like you're gonna have a good time, who cares? Just go at what you enjoy. So that's kind of how I saw it. I think there was like Brand of Sacrifice too, right? Like a couple.
There's a Veil of Maya Brand of Sacrifice headliner, which in itself is like two really one
insane.
More of a legacy band, but two like really really big bands at the moment. It's like there's no reason for those shows to not do good. It's like. This entire package would draw people without the Summer Slaughter name on it, right? And that was kind of like the whole thing. Is like remove the Summer Slaughter name, and it's a solid fucking lineup. It's super cool, But,
yeah, man. Like I heard people saying if it was called, I'm trying to remember the name of the other festival that Ash had,
like all Star Tours or something like that.
Yeah, All Stars. Yeah. And like does it matter? Does it?
It's so superficial. It's so like it's the same bands, it's the same thing. But you're right. Like it's weird, man. I it's something I never really understood when the lineup came out. Like I quote unquote, I get it. Like kind of like bad marketing, if you will. But at the end of the day, like, you know, you got a cool cast of bands, you know, then that's what really matters. But
I feel like
yeah,
it's
man, but-
it's also
go for
because sorry, yeah, I feel like it's also because like we have so many big nostalgic, you know, like the Vans Warped Tour is coming back, the when we were young thing, you know what I mean? Like I know I'm going in another kind of scene a little bit, but it's just these people now, most people have so much like expectation. They expect like all their band, like completely everything they ever listened to be there, and they want it for like $15 type thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, how do you think it works? You know, it's just I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the bands that they're asking, like, not saying that this band was asked, but like say someone wanted Deicide. And someone's like, yeah, bring Deicide to Summer Slaughter. Okay, what's Deicide's guarantee compared to what it was back then?
mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like you can't afford to
are
do that
people
for
willing
30
to pay a
days.
ticket
Like,
for that, you know? Yeah.
oh yeah, like but people don't see that. They're just like, this is what we want. Don't tell us otherwise. And I'm like, no, you're not being told otherwise. Like, just you come or you don't come.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. Like take it for what it is. You know what I mean? Like if the because I've seen so many comments about the Vans Warped Tour, right? And I get it. Like people are scared it's not the same and everything. But I saw some people like expecting the same prices. I'm like, where, like, how do you really think over time? Like, did you even look at the prices in general right now? Like, it's just it's impossible, you know. Like, so it's just me personally. I'm not. If I enjoy something, if I really want to see bands and stuff like that, I couldn't care less. Unless you tell me it's like, you know, $5,000, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, okay. But like, if it makes sense a little bit, I kind of see it differently. I see it as like I'm supporting. You know what I mean? Like I'm going there. Supporting, you know, so I don't care.
Three grown-ass dudes talking that way, though. It's a bit different, I guess. For you
I'm
know,
old. I'm old.
Yeah, we're both in different stages of life compared to you know, the 18-year-old looking for the $20 ticket.
You may have a point. You may have a point about that. They could do it age thing, right? Like we're paying more because we're old.
There we go. Maybe. Yeah.
So
we you know we're getting close to the seniors discount if they're doing
that.
Yeah,
we might get it. Who knows? So
hell, I'm ready for it.
There you go,
dude. I mean, speaking, I guess of like longevity and you know, things that have been around for a while. You guys have been around for 10 years at this point, right?
Yeah, well,
just about.
Yeah, it started in 2015. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys kind of came up in what I consider, you know, a lot of bands were doing like the whole down tempo thing was like the thing back then, right? Like you guys definitely joined a wave of like a bunch of other bands that were doing that particular style. Everyone was wanting to be Traders and Black Tongue and like these super heavy down-tuned bands, you know, that was the wave for a minute. But it's been cool to see you guys, A, you know, keep at it, but B, kind of transform your sound from just being just another down tempo band. How's that been for you guys? Because you know you guys have put out so much music. That's what I was realizing this week. I was like, I usually put things like in a list, like discography wise and stuff. And I'm like, wait, there's like an album almost every single year. Like whether you consider an EP an album or not. Like you guys have had a release, like, you know, 7 releases in 10 years type of thing. You know, so a lot of music, but a lot of changes in sound and incorporating different things to eventually come to, you know, what you guys sound like right now. Kind of, I'd love to maybe to pick your brain a little bit about, you know, including more of the rap-ish, you know, elements into the sound, and maybe, you know, how it's been over the years for you guys in terms of like finding your voice, you know, finding your sound.
Well, like you said, we started off with doing like the down tempo, like in that era, and like it was something we did for a very long time, and like when you write that material over and over and over again, because all that stuff was super personal too, and it's just like you get to the point you don't really want to do that. You don't want to relive that every night, you know. So we just tried to have fun with the new record. We just had fun. And I mean, sure, there's some songs that are about some like that have some deeper like things to them, but we just had fun. Just going back to our roots, like the stuff we like to listen to, like new metal. There's a hardcore song on there, a hardcore-ish song. Like just have fun writing music and just vibing.
Hey, there's some singing on this one too.
Yeah. Had to do it to him.
No, but it's cool. It's I just talk to me a little bit about the more personal stuff. I'm curious. So you guys, I mean, lyrically, was it a lot of stuff coming from you? Do you guys kind of write lyrics like together? You say a lot of the stuff is personal. Is it just personal to you? More members involved? I'm kind of curious on that.
Well, the earlier stuff was the majority of it was written by me, and a lot of it came from my personal experiences with like lost friends that are on drugs or having like just all the crazy shit that goes on in your head, you know, that like this gave me an outlet to be able to express it, you know. So and now I got that out, and I kind of want to like move not necessarily away from like telling that, because like it's a feeling. It's like you write what you feel. And in this moment, like the era of the band that we're in now, I'm just enjoying the ride, man, enjoying what all we're doing, like having fun, like writing and meeting new people, making new connections. And but back to your question, though. I'm sorry I got off track, but
that's all we do.
David,
don't you worry about that.
my guitarist David, he's written a few songs too that are specifically like personal to him.
Okay.
And like, yeah, it's like me and him, like me and him go into the studio. Most of the times it's just me and him. Sometimes the rest of the guys come out, but like we kind of lay down the bare bones and just like grind. Like we back in 2017, we went to the studio for 2 weeks straight. We get up at like 9 a.m., go to the studio all day, get done at like 6 or 7, repeat until the album was done. And like it gets tense, but it's like, I don't know, it feels like that's the way for us to get it out, to have like something still feel real to it, you know?
Yeah.
That's
I'm making sense, I don't know if I
No, dude.
Oh,
no,
okay.
1,000%
No, you do.
Yeah.
That's to me. That's the important part. Like the last thing I would want for an artist that I enjoy, that I like, that I respect, would be for them to do something because they feel like they have to do something and stuff like. No matter what it is, even if it might be different, might be surprising, it might be not what you expected, as long as it's true and it's exactly what you wanted to do, real fans, honestly, that's what they want. You know what I mean? So it's a perfect mindset, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's what I want as a fan too.
You see, like, to be honest, it's just because these people are loud, right? The one complaining about you changing and stuff like that, they're very loud. But I feel like most of the time, there's a lot of people super happy, but we just don't see it as much because, like, yeah, they're loud about it. You know, don't you dare had clean singing in your music. You know what I mean? Like they feel betrayed or something. You know, so it's this weird thing.
It's a personal attack specific to them. You know,
exactly. It's personal.
How's it been though? Because you guys, you know, once you guys started the rollout for this record specifically, you guys have been doing numbers on the streams, on the music video releases. You know, we're looking at like 1.6 million on a music video.
Congrats,
you know,
by the way,
on Chinchak, which is
crazy,
huge, man. It's crazy. So I mean, talk to us about
Thank
that.
you
Like,
guys.
Well, of course, man. But I'd love to kind of hear your perspective on it, because you guys, and this is far from the only music videos that's gotten good views, and the streams are doing even better for those songs. But I'm curious for you, like, how is it? Because you guys, I guess, previous to Chin Check, have never had like a song blow up that much, right? Like, how was it surprising to you
Not
guys?
even
Like, how do you guys take
close.
that in? Like,
Yeah. It's like, so that song, that was the last song we had that was the last song that was written in the session. We finished the album and then we're like, we want to write another song. We just got the bug too. And we wrote that song. Nobody thought it was going to be a single. Nobody thought we thought it was going to be good, but not what it was, what it is. And like, it's surreal to like, it's like every time any show I go to, the people actually know who I am. They're always like, Chin Check. And I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
well, that must be cool.
Yeah, it's
like, having a
crazy though,
song-
man.
A
Yeah.
song that's that big. I'm sure then you go on these tours that aren't even necessarily like your own headliner. Like you go on Summer Slaughter, and even then people must know the lyrics to that song and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that's crazy because that's as a musician, I feel like that's what every singer at least wants that. I want people like singing their lyrics, yelling them back at them, like, yeah, it's a vibe. It's awesome.
And I don't know what you guys did with the bass, but it's insane. Like it's super loud in the mix. It's so well done. You know what I mean? Like it might be just a perception thing, but that's like one of the first things, because I love when the bass is loud. Personally, I really love when the bass is loud, and I feel like it's a good example.
That's just the guitar, yeah. They're just tuned that low.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
I mean, if it is, I want to know the secret.
Wow.
But it's so, like the song, I feel like you guys are not, sometimes you show metal and people are like, I don't listen to it. I feel like it's so bouncy and a different vibe that you could show that to someone like outside. I think we had those similar conversation with Peeling Flesh, you know what I mean? But like, it's a kind of music you would put in the car, and even maybe your friends who only listens to rap or other things would be like, that's actually pretty sick. So I feel like you guys have maybe
bridging a bit of a gap.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah,
So
I appreciate that. Like, that's what I want. Like, I have a lot of friends that don't listen to heavy stuff that are like finally giving us a chance too. So that's pretty cool. Like, because we just blended everything. Like, we all love hip hop. We all love new metal. Most of us love hardcore. Like, so deathcore. So, yeah.
Well, I'd be curious what some of like your influences would be. Like you talk about new metal and deathcore and hardcore and stuff like that. Like what kind of inspires you? Maybe from like a vocalist perspective, but even just for the band in general, I'd be curious.
Vocal perspective. So, favorite band of all time is Black Dahlia. Black Dahlia Murder. And then for like vocally, I'll say Black Dahlia Murder. I love anything New York or East Coast hardcore, like Madball, you got Hatebreed, and then, Terror is West Coast, but Scott's originally from New York, so they get lumped in there, but like Terror,
he gets the pass,
yeah. Oceano, Corn, Limp Bizkit for sure, and the Mirror. Like, those are like the main ones for me, and pretty much for my guitarist too. Like,
you guys are on the same page.
We like
on that
vibe a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it would be
It's like
sick
anytime
actually. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I was just saying it would be awesome to see you guys with Immure. I feel like it would be so sick.
Dude,
I
hell
mean,
yeah,
you
it
guys,
would.
you guys got the nod to him on one of the songs, so you gotta do it to him.
I would. Yeah, that would be a dream come true. I love that band so much.
And it would fit. I mean, it would perfectly fit. You know, the bands you just mentioned. I mean, like in the lineup, if it would be like Immure, you guys, Peeling, you know what I mean? Like just all bouncy, extremely heavy bands. I mean, it would be an insane shows. You know.
Here's the trick question. What's your favorite Immure album?
Oh,
My favorite Immure album? Oh my God.
it's a tough question.
Oh, you were gonna hate me. It's
That's why I said it was a trick question. There's like no right answer, and people are gonna have an opinion on this regardless.
Yep.
So it's a safe space here, though. You're good. You're good.
You cannot win with that question. You just
as far as like, well, I'm gonna give you two answers.
Oh, he's copping out. Okay. Go for it. Hit us.
As far as like nostalgia for me, the Respect Issue. But favorite, because it's nothing but straight bangers only. Speaker of the Dead.
oh yeah.
Tell me I'm
yeah.
lying.
Those are both great records, man. No,
Yeah,
that's
and-
cool. I mean, they honestly, I haven't really not enjoyed an Immure album. I think back in the day, some people gave, Respect Issue and Felony like a bit of a harder time. But you listen to those albums today and you're like, wait, if people were full of shit, these albums are fucking goated. Like it's all good, man.
I remember watching like it have like commercial spots on like MTV and on VH1, and it'd be like Victory Records, and then it'd be the Respect Issue, and like just hearing the sound go down, weird. Like I was like, yo, man. Like as a kid, like I didn't know what that shit was. Like, and I was like, this is crazy. And then Frankie's like so immersed in like hip hop. It's his style and like their style. It's like, it's perfect. For me anyway, it's perfect.
Yeah, and I feel like it's earlier we were talking about nostalgia, and later on people get like Immure is definitely that band, because I still remember listening to Immure and people would be like, that's not good, that's not metal, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, did you hear? Like it seemed super low, sick vocals, everything. I was like, that's a sick band. And I feel like now people are like, like they're realizing more that they were, unique and different. You go back in time, no one was like Immure. You had one Immure, that's it. Like no band was,
I'd argue you still don't.
True.
Exactly.
They really had their own thing, their own sound, and even when they got Travis on guitar, and they even when they changed up through that phase, I mean it's still groated and like sounds different than anything else out there. So I don't know, they've really kind of paved their own lane, which I think that's what kind of gives a band legacy and something long lasting, right? Ultimately is kind of like doing your own thing and not sounding like anyone else. And people have tried sounding like Immure, but
Yeah, you
Difficult.
can never be the original. He wrote about it.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, he is the one to have that sort of confidence for sure.
And I feel it's definitely tying up the other conversation too, like Dustin, like you were talking about doing what you really want to do, not being scared of trying out things in studio and stuff like that. Like it's a good example. Like Immure really, they always did what they wanted to do. Like, like very early on, Frankie would do these, would use his voice a lot, like his talking voice, like in between,
Yeah.
and I personally, I think it's awesome. So like he did that a lot. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I think it's worth the risk to do what to not limit yourself to try things, so maybe at first people won't get it. And then years later for, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, wow, that band. So not being scared of experimenting is a good way to find your sound, I feel like.
Yeah, and then like we we've written so much music in the past, like even like so in the post that you guys put up, it was it had pictures of the old Invoker,
Yes,
like,
sir.
and the old
I went even
Invoker
further
is
back than
us.
that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you did. You found the car. Oh my god, dude, that was a time. We yeah, that was Karsha was my first band, but we played some pretty cool shows. We weren't that great, but you know, we had heart, man. We had a heart.
Y'all were trying.
Uh,
Y'all were doing the thing.
yeah, we were tried.
Yeah, kind of like the strings
and-
going on, the little box, and the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh god.
You say you're not that great, but like again, who's starting great? Like I'm not saying no one is starting great, but I'm pretty sure they're rare. You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm trying to think when I started trying to be. Oh, it was a disaster, you know. So sometimes I hear people like you know, being like, "Oh, we were terrible." I'm like, "Well, it was actually." I've seen terrible, and I wouldn't say it like that, you know. Like it's part of the roots, but sometimes it's just kind of you don't realize how time flies sometimes, and you see yourself and you're like, oh my god, like old pictures or whatever, and I'm just like, oh my god. So I feel like these shows for artists are sometimes like I do these posts with like people from years ago, and they message me and they're like, where did you, like, what is that? I hate myself on that. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, you know. So can be funny sometimes.
Well, I'm curious though, you know, between obviously, you know, the first band, but then obviously, you know, you mentioned Invoker. Invoker and Filth have like a, you know, shared members and or like I was seeing a show and or slight tour flyers with both bands on it. So tell us a bit about that. And to add to that too, you're talking about like playing with the older band. You guys played between those three bands. Like you've played the hometown. So many times, you know, ground zero is clearly your second home. So talk to us about, you know, the hometown scene and maybe, you know, Invoker and the ties with Filth. I'd be curious.
Yeah, I mean, so we all like that scene, Spartanburg. It was like the first place that I went to see a local. Well, I went to a VFW before that, but when I started meeting people within the scene, it was Ground Zero. I worked there for a long time too. The owner's like family to me, and yeah, it was just like a hot spot. It's like like they've done everything from like they've been around for like 20 plus years, so they did everything. Like Behemoth's been there, Slayer's been there in the early days. System of a Down started their very first tour. The first date was started at that venue. So it's just like it's an old school punk venue, but a lot of like lore, a lot of history there. And like going to shows, like I was in a car show. Some guys from my town, and we go to Ground Zero. Saw my guitarist band, A Darker Shade of Scarlet was his band back in the day, and it was like old school metalcore type stuff, and our bassist he was in that band for a stint too, and like they were the mainstay, and they won like Julia C from Fuse. They won like that competition, so everybody in the scene were like, oh, these guys are the next ones out. And it's just from playing shows and meeting them, we all linked up and started Invoker. And Invoker, we started Invoker in like 2013, and we started trying to tour immediately. And I guess that's what eventually led. Oh yeah,
Like just
We tried to hit it
just
hard.
for context, like it wasn't just we were trying to tour. Like you guys were doing the DIY stuff. You guys were like, you guys had a lot of. I was looking back at like tour flyers and stuff, and you guys were constantly on the road. For like a band that was just starting out, it was like clearly you guys were putting in a lot of work to be as much on the road as possible, right?
Yeah, and because our guitarist, he's like a force, man. He came from he had filled in for King Conquer on a couple of tours, and he just came back with like what he had learned and was like helping us apply it. And we were like, okay, so playing hometown shows are cool, but we gotta get the hell out. We gotta tour. We gotta tour. We gotta tour. And that, like, I know some people still remember Invoker, but that helped build the fan base for Filth, because like I still see people from when I started playing and music with all these guys like still coming to our shows, and that means a lot to me. It's pretty cool.
So it's I guess you and the guitarist that went on to form Filth. Like how did that kind of come about? Like you guys wanted to do something different with other people, or just to do a different outlet? Because the style of music wasn't like entirely like completely different. It wasn't like you were going into another genre, or
Yeah.
doing a rock band or something instead. You know, it's still in the same kind of heavy realm. So what was that transition like?
So me and my guitarist, we both simped for Black Tongue, and we were like, we want to do something like that, man, because we knew Traders. We had been in contact with them, and Body Snatcher played a bunch of shows with those guys, and then Black Tongue. We were like, yo, like this band is ridiculous, and we just wanted to try our hand at it. And like I'm an emo kid at heart, so I'm like, okay, this is my opportunity to like get all of this out, because it's low and slow and like doomy, and like it was supposed to be an internet project, and people enjoyed it. We thought people enjoyed it so much, we were like, okay, we're gonna try and put a live band together. And when we did, we just kind of never stopped like touring, just trying to
like
like
a point
hit it
where
as
it
hard
was
as
like
possible.
kind of was there a point where it's kind of like I guess taking over, instead of Invoker? Like was that like a thing you guys had to realize at one point, like one of these has got to give, because like Filth is doing better or bigger tours or whatever? Like what was that conversation like?
Oh yeah, because there were actually three projects at once. It was Impel the Betrayer, which is two members of Filth, and it was my best friend Justin Wilson. He did vocals. We did a tour. It was Invoker, Impale, and Filth, and we were doing double duty each night. And we put out our final release with Invoker in like 2017. I think I'm pretty sure it was 2017. And we were just like, yeah, man, we just gotta put, not to say put all your eggs in one basket, but we gotta put more focus onto this, to what this is and what we can do. And because we still create other music like outside, like, and because I was doing Impale. There was one year I did a Filth record, an Impale the Betrayer record, and an Invoker record. And I was like, okay, something's got to give. Like, we gotta,
yeah.
like, I'm running out of shit to write about at this point. But,
Yeah, on top of touring and all that stuff, because you talk about 2017, but you guys already gone out a couple times with Falsifier, did that Angel Maker tour in 2017 too. So like things were picking up too, right? It wasn't just not just like a gut feeling, or there's like something tangible there too, right, from touring and stuff.
Yeah, because our first the first tour that we did as Filth was X. I don't know if you guys probably remember. Well, obviously, I know you do. X King X in California, X King X, Far From Nothing, and Rex and us, and that was the first tour we ever did as a band with Filth, and I was like, yo, this is so dope. Just as a fan of like all those bands, like it was like, okay, that's what made me feel like, oh, I'm here, I'm doing this, like this is now my life, and we just kind of never stopped. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
something felt different with like playing with those styles of bands and doing that sort of music with those bands.
Yeah, it felt special. It's like just to be at that time when all those bands were like coming out, like then all those bands, Body Snatcher, Traders, it's just be on the bill, be in the same spot, places those bands, and like people being like, "Oh, this is a sick ass show," like it's awesome.
That's cool, man. And then so I mean, kind of fast forward. I'd maybe love to talk a little bit about the touring. Speaking of touring and stuff, about the touring you guys have done outside of Summer Slaughter this year, because you guys did between the three legs of your headliner. That was a lot of touring. That was like a 2-month stint between the three legs, and like with some pretty cool bands on every single stint. How was it doing the headliner? Obviously around the album release and all this stuff. Like how'd it go for you guys? How was it?
It was because we've done headliners before, but this one like actually it felt like a legitimate real headliner. We got to pick every band handpicked to go on it, and it, in my opinion, it was crushing. Like it was surreal that because I don't know, it's hard to explain because well, I mean, at certain points you go out on tour and you become jaded. You're like, okay, it's probably gonna be like 50 kids here tonight, but then you got that show that you're 100% sure it's gonna be sold out or something like that, and like just to be able to have bands that we handpicked and be able to actually sell out multiple shows, like just with bands that we love, was insane to me. Like,
Yeah,
and especially
shout out
like
to the homies in Nine Dead, man.
oh, Nine Dead, oh yeah, Nine Dead, Heavy Hitter, Awaken
Yes,
Providence.
sir. Snake
Oh
Father was
man, there's
on one of the legs too.
Snake Father and Furious.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah,
They're underrated, man. I feel like not enough people are tuned into Infurious.
dude, they are, and they've been out for a while. Because I remember just Slam Worldwide, like when they first popped off. I remember seeing like a video of them, and we played. It was a pizza fest in Detroit, and it was yeah, it was wild, man. It's like
What
it
are
was the
those
pizza
shows?
fest,
Pizza Fest.
dude. It was. I mean, there wasn't really a lot of pizza. Like you would think there would be like more pizza. Well, there wasn't a whole lot. I didn't even eat any.
Tasting different pizza vendors, little samples.
It's like they would make pizza. They made pizza at that venue, and from what I can understand, it was like, oh, this is the same thing. They always have pizza here. It's just like a bunch of bands now, but it was pretty cool. It was the first time we played it. This goes back to Infurious too. This is my first time seeing them. It was like us, Angel Maker, Traders, Falsifier, and Victims, and then Infurious was there, and I was like, I had been seeing like just like the teaser for their video for a long time, and then like yo, this band is sick, and now cut to like we get to tour with them like years later.
That's cool. Did I want to talk about merch Because
Oh, okay.
okay. Well. Here, the thing is, earlier we talked about, you wanted to have fun with the band and maybe do less, emotional, like heavy writing and stuff. But I mean, outside of the lyrics, you guys have always had fun with the merch. We can
Oh
say at
yeah,
least that.
dude.
What's some of the process behind the merch? Because a lot of it is kind of like over the top, maybe, some of it's edgy. What's is it just you guys having a good time? Like, what's the process behind the merch? Because I think you guys have a few very, very iconic merch designs in my eyes.
Oh man, it's like, so we have our buddy Mark DeGrucci. He does a lot of design work, and then Andrew Kaleri, and me and David are in constant communication with both of them. It's like, after this podcast, I'm gonna get on Xbox and play with Andrew, and we'll just like talk shop like the entire time. Um, it's just fans of like heavy music ridiculousness. Like anything ridiculous is like, that's pretty much us. Like our chat, like, I don't know. Our chat. If you're listening, don't listen to that. But I mean, we legit just have fun. We'll just be goofing around and think of something, and like
Inside jokes that turn into t-shirts, or
yeah,
just like a random banter that makes it on a shirt.
exactly, yeah. I've been trying to get one like made for the longest time, because I always like say our guitarist is Hank Hill. Like, he is the embodiment of Hank Hill. So I want to get one that says "I love breakdowns and breakdown accessories" with his face in the front of it, and the King of the Hill font.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I thought you were saying you were trying to get it done, but you weren't, maybe it was too edgy to be done or something. But no, that's a great idea. I love that.
Oh no, I just want to like, and we get to troll them. We get to troll them at the same time, so it's perfect.
Do it behind his back anyway, just show up in the boxes one day.
He's just like he's the heaviest version of Hank Hill.
Yeah, if Hank Hill could write breakdowns, I guess.
Yeah. Dude.
I think the one I put in our post, I think is I was laughing so hard. The kind of like gas station style,
Oh yeah, the Mountain Dew.
Long sentence. I'm not just the owner of an amazing kitty cat. I'm also a blunt smoker who chugged a Mountain Dew Code Red, and I'm ready to spin kick a motherfucker. all on one side of a t-shirt. It's so good.
Thank you, man. Like, we just try to have fun with it, with everything, really, dude. Like, it's like, if we like I feel like if we like it, there has to be a chance that someone else will like it or find humor in it. So you just, I don't know, just kind of, yeah.
Well, I feel like it's adding a lot of personality. Like, I was talking about that a little bit earlier, but there's some people. I'm sure there's some people who really, they listen to the music, don't care about other stuff. But like, a lot of us love to connect with people. Like, personally, I love knowing who's in the band. How are these people? Like, what's their interest and stuff like that. So you have two choices. You can do normal, the merch that they see every single day, which is fine. It's your logo. Or you can be super creative, laugh about it, create some moment and some lore behind it, and we do that every week, and we notice over the years that what sticks in our minds are always the ones that are more, either like funny or different or just like an inside thing, and it becomes part of the lore. I'm sure there's some people who talks to you about it, like from ideas you have or some jokes you made. So to me, I don't feel like you can go wrong with humor and just like building a lore with your merch, as opposed to like, let's put a dark skeleton, like let's put like just like a dark image, and with fire, you know what I mean? Like it's cool to see things that are original and close to them, I find.
And we'll make some stuff like that too for like
Of course.
people that yeah.
You got the
You gotta have one
right
of
here.
these.
Like, here's your boring thing if you want it, but here's all the cool stuff over here. We know which one goes on the table.
Yep. We got that one in the $5 box over here.
Yeah, there we go. the mystery grab bags. Talking about like Yan kind of alluded to lore and stuff, but I'd be curious to tap into the word gutter for you guys. You got a lot of stuff, the Tales from the Gutter, the Stay Gutter, the Still Gutter, the Gutter Gang, gutter everything. What's with the gutter? Explain the lore.
It was something me and my guitarist like came up with. It's also like hip hop oriented, just like, I'm trying to watch what I say, but like some of it's like, you come from we come from the deep South. All our parents are like working class, blue collar. You come from nothing. You come from the mud. You come from the gutter, and like that's pretty much all it is. It's just like, I'm not trying to sound like a hippie, but it's kind of like a unity thing, man. It's like we all cut from the same cloth, cut from the same fabric. So we just like team up, do our thing.
Yeah, it's an identity thing at that point. Like it's something, I guess, something they're related to. But I think it's it's one thing to maybe have a term or something thrown into a song name or a T-shirt design or something, but to make it a part of the branding is another thing, right? Because I think obviously the Stay Gutter is like it's like a coined like term now that people can use with you guys, or that people can associate with, right? Was there any thought into like making it kind of a part of the image or the brand, or did that just kind of like come together naturally?
It came naturally, and then like also influenced by like other things, like you got like Still Dre, and I like, and you got the Chronic 2000, you got the Chronic 2000, 2001, and like I just wanted to do something like that because we have Gutter, Still Gutter, and Stay Gutter, and I wanted to. It's like an ode to that, like keeping that same kind of vein, and also keep myself in that same kind of mindset,
You're like kind of creating the roots like for yourself, something to kind of draw back to and kind of tap into every time.
Yeah. And like, because I love when bands and other artists do stuff like that. It's like I was having a conversation with a friend the other day. It's like, it's how you listen to, I love Young Thug and I love Migos, but they always have like a catchphrase, like certain catchphrases that they go back to, and it's in like 50 other songs. But it's like, you're going to hear that at some point. They come out with a new song, and it's going to be hilarious at the same time. I love all that shit because I think it's funny. It's funny and it's like witty.
Yeah. There's like different ways of doing it too, right? Like I think obviously you've got like the classic, just kind of like the tag that people will throw at the beginning of a song. I personally think that's kind of like sometimes just out of place, but when it's like just something you can add to the lyrics, or it's a song name, or it's in the general universe. I always thought that sort of stuff was cool, because I don't think we don't see that all that much in metal. Right. So I think obviously you're talking about these influences from outside of metal and stuff, but I think it's always cool when we're able to bring something from the outside into the metal world. That's what makes it stick out, in my opinion. Like those to some people, these are the small things, but I think it makes an impact in the long run,
Yeah, that same here, because I just want to like, if I can blend the two, because there have been other people that have done it, different ways before, like blending hip hop and like heavy music. But if I can do it in the way that like I have it in my mind, and like I said, me and our band, we're always on like the same page. Me and David, at least, are always, we have like that. Well, I'm not saying at least, but me and him have always been
Yeah,
on like
yeah.
the same wavelength. And like, I don't know if we can blend those two together. I think it'll be like perfect in my mind, in my opinion. Like
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
and it's everything that we love, like throw like a southern hip hop flair in there with with like everything else. It just like represents like everything we grew up on and like love pretty much.
Do maybe to kind of go back to, we were talking about, Chin Check doing well, but a lot of other songs have also done pretty cool numbers on like music videos specifically. You guys have put out a lot of music videos for this release. Was that like something you guys were like purposefully setting out to do? Is that something maybe you guys saw Chin Check and were like, okay, we got to like do more of this sort of release? So like, what was the thinking there?
Well,
Because you guys had music
well
videos
early
before Chin
on,
Check. It's not like it's the first time you guys had a music video, but for sure, a few of those clips have like really popped off now.
yeah, it all kind of fell into place. We started off, we did music video for Chin Check and Stay Gutter, and then we did three within that week. And we did Martyr because we were playing a live show. We were like, well, let's just film the live show. And we didn't have any plans to do any more after that. But like with the way everything was going, it's like, well, hell, we got some free time, let's put a video out for Cement Shoes. Let's do it. And it just kind of like we're things change in the industry so quick that it's like hard to catch on to them sometimes. And it's like we felt like we caught that wave of what was happening. So we were like, we're gonna just capitalize on this right now and like just put out content, like good content. And it's like it gives the album longevity too, in my opinion.
Have you guys always been unsigned?
Uh from up until last year we were.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you
we're
guys have done
signed to
a lot of it was DIY up till then.
yeah, everything was pretty much DIY up until we signed with this album cycle.
Yeah, yeah. How's that made how different has it been, working with a label at this stage in the band's life compared to doing it DIY?
Well, like luckily the people that we're working with, they're also musicians. Like Anthony from E Town Concrete, that's our agent, and he also runs the label. Him and Lorenzo Antonucci from Sworn Enemy, and it's just like they're just homies that give you direction. Is what it seems like. You know what it feels like, and it's pretty much the same way. It's just like if we need anything, they're there.
I mean, that's cool, right? Just to know that you have the support and the extra, helping hand whenever you guys need it, right?
Yeah, and that they've been like instrumental in getting us other tour offers as well as our booking agent. But just getting us different opportunities, showing us other things that we can do as a band, and it's been pretty great.
That's cool. You guys, I mean, speaking of tours, you guys have got two really cool tours coming up. The next, you guys are leaving for a tour in a couple of weeks. And that's a really eclectic lineup, but I love it. Talk to us a bit about
Yeah.
touring with Broken Side. Like, how'd that come
That's
about?
wild, man.
That's so cool.
And see, I was a Broken Side fan like way back in the day, and it's so our booking agent, we're on the same roster, and they had reached out about us, and we were like, yeah, we'll do that. That's gonna be sick. Like, cause I mean, it's just, I mean, we're two completely different genres, but at the same time, it'll like, I don't know. I feel like it could, like, it can fit, it can work because like they have the hip hop element. They also have like harsh vocals, and like I feel like there's opportunity for crossover fans. Some people might dig what we do, and some of our fans might dig what they do. And like so, that's pretty much how it came about. It was they're just like, yo, these guys are sick, and like hit our agent up. And it was weird we had the same fucking agent, but it's pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's yeah, it's an eclectic lineup. You guys will definitely be the heaviest band on the bill. But that being said, you guys are probably oftentimes the heavier band on the bill. Even
It's not the
even
first
with
time.
heavy bands, yeah, probably not the first or the last time that's gonna happen.
we try.
No, but I think you know, you mentioned, you know, obviously there's like differences in styles and stuff, but I for sure see like a crossover there, like for sure. You know, I think especially like people who are fans of like Broken Side, it's like such a niche kind of sound that they have that I would doubt that the people that listen to Broken Side only listen to that style of music, right? Like they're probably people
Yeah.
that listen to heavy music too. Like that's how kind of like, you know, we all listened to Broken Side when we were younger too, and we listened to Filth today. You know, like it's I think the emo, we talk about this a lot, but the emo to deathcore kid pipeline is real. You know,
Oh yeah.
a lot of us share that DNA.
Oh, I'm
so
proof of
I think it works.
I would be curious to ask about like vocals because we talked a lot about the band and everything, but I would be curious to know like first of all like how you prepare for a tour. Like some people have like I don't know like they're gonna drink tea or something. You know what I mean? Like each person like they have certain things, and also how do you put yourself in the zone when you wreck and everything? Like what's your whole vocal process in general?
I don't do anything too crazy. I mean, I was like vocally trained like as a kid up until like my like all throughout high school and whatnot too. Made like a bunch of audition choirs, but I use like the same warm ups that you would if you were going to sing in a choir. And I just water, nothing with caffeine before you play, and every now and again a shot of whiskey helps. But other than that, I just try to warm up like 20, 30 minutes before the set and like get at 'em at sleep. Everybody in the band says I sleep a lot, which I do. But yeah.
Do they say
Yeah,
you sleep a lot, or they say you sleep too much? There's a difference.
They say I sleep a lot. They
Okay.
don't say too much. But I am normally the first one to go out. As soon as we get in the van, I'm like gone.
Uh,
It's not a bad thing. I feel like the opposite it might be worse. Like not sleeping a lot, I think would be way worse. Partying and then playing or whatever. I guess I could ask about that. Like, what did you? Because you're doing all these amazing tours and there's all kinds of people, right? Like there's people more relaxed and more, and you have like the party people and stuff like that. Like, is there like a big contrast between the bands you're playing with? Like, do you notice these things a lot?
Well, Summer Slaughter was a giant party, is what it felt like. But I mean, you can see some members will like keep to themselves or something, something like that. But
Yeah.
for the most part, everybody on that tour was partying most most nights, But yeah, like, but it's just like I have my days where I won't I don't feel like we'll play, and then like I always try to talk to everyone that I can, and at the end of the day, it's like, all right, I'm going to the van. Everybody else is probably drinking or something somewhere. I like to don't get me wrong. I like to get mine in too, but like at this point in time, I'm just gonna check out. Just tired.
And
Because
it's
I get really anxious a lot.
completely get that.
Yeah.
Are you also, just out of curiosity, because you said anxious, and me personally, since I'm anxious, it takes a lot of energy to hang out with people. Like, I need to recharge after. Or are you like that a little bit? Like, if you hang out, then you need your time to just like kind of, recharge and get back.
100%. Because
Okay.
like especially doing what we do, it's like you're constantly meeting people and constantly having to talk to people, and I enjoy that. But at the same time, I'm like in my head, and I'm like, oh god, am I being awkward? Am I being too awkward? I hope I didn't make a bad impression, like, and like, okay, that just gets to be too much sometimes. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go chill.
Dude, like, I couldn't relate more with what you said. Like, the way my brain works, like, it makes no sense. I'm gonna be with my own family, and I'm gonna be in my car, and I'm gonna be like, did I talk too much, maybe, or did was I rude? Like a random like a 2-minute thing, and like a complete night of whatever, and I'm gonna be like, I feel like when I said that, it was a bit weird, maybe. Like, that's me.
I could see Yan going back to the grocery store to say sorry to the cashier.
Oh,
I could see it.
I could. It's very possible. Like, it wouldn't be surprising, like, at all. But it's kind of it's stupid sometimes, because like we're doing that to ourselves, but like in general, people don't even think about it. Like, it's gone, they're doing their things, and you're like, oh my god, what if? And meanwhile, the other person's just like, oh, that was fun. And that's you create situations for nothing, right? So it's I'm trying to imagine at your place, right? Like, you're seeing so many people, you meet fans, and stuff like that. So you want to, you're probably sometimes like, oh my god, did I look like tired? Like, was I, you know what I mean? Stuff like that probably happens.
Yeah. Do I look tired, or like, did I sound like a robot?
He says always the same thing. Thank you.
In my mind, I'm like, damn, man. Just be walking back to the van, still thinking about that, going over it in my head. Like, damn, that person probably thinks I'm a dick.
I don't smoke weed because that's what weed does to me. That's my thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I get in that headspace when I smoke. So I've laid off of that.
Don't even need
That's
that
me
to
with and without.
There you go. That being said, it must have been cool for you guys to because I'm guessing you met a lot of your fans, like Slaughter, the tours were huge. So how was that, like spending time? Because I know, like, you're playing, you're probably tired, maybe you don't have that, the whole night doing that, but I'm guessing you met a lot of people just telling you about how they've been following you for a long time and stuff like that. Like, how does it feel to meet these people?
It's amazing. It's overwhelming sometimes, but like, I would see people from, like, they'd be at a show like 4 days ago on that tour.
Wow.
And they pop up in like a random state, and I'd be like, yo. And they'd be there early, like, to watch us, like, as we opened the whole show, and like just be there bright and early, ready to like kick it. We would go on at 3 most days, and 3:30, if not 3. Yeah, it was.
That's rough, dude. Yeah, 3:30 is probably like at the same time as Doors too, right?
Yep, the Doors were normally at like 2:30 and then 3. And it's like, you're like, damn it, man! Like, it's early as hell, but let me get this rage out real quick.
Yeah, well, you got the rest of the night at least to check it. There's like, I think there's a happy medium. Like, for me personally, like opening a tour, I've always found has been way more fun than headlining, because you actually get to enjoy the night after your set. But 3 in the afternoon is like another extreme. That's like early.
Yeah, it's good. It was it was wild, but then like I don't know, man. It was still pretty cool because like some shows, obviously not everybody's gonna be there at 3. But a lot of the times, like the crowds were like insane for us, and it like because it's like we go into it every day. Like it's like a mixed bag. It's like, is it gonna be like crazy set for us, or is it gonna be like, you know, is it gonna be okay? You know, and like that was also like retrospect. In the retrospect, that was like also a part of the fun to it. It's just like I'm gonna go ham regardless. But like when everybody when it's 3 o'clock, 3:30, and like the venue's like packed, and you're like, hell yeah, I'm in this shit.
Yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
ready, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's a crazy feeling, man.
Yeah, because at that point you had to make the choice to like show up early to specifically basically see you guys, right? Because if not, it's like yeah, probably work until 5, or during the week or whatever. Like some people probably took off, or got off work early to come see you guys and stuff. So that stuff must have been always kind of like pleasant surprises, right?
Oh yeah, man. And it makes you feel valued, you know? Like people enjoy us, people like my shit, you know? So uh,
Yeah, because sometimes
we
you
love.
do a festival and you wonder like because when it's big, you're like, are they there for us or are they just like kind of there for the festival? You know what I mean? But like when you play early like that and you
Mhm.
see these people going crazy, you know for a fact they're here for us right now. You know, so it's another kind of feeling, even if it wouldn't be like the biggest crowd, it's still extremely meaningful, right? Like it's even more
Mhm.
meaningful, so because they're there for you, so it's you know
And that's my thing. It's like I could play like the biggest venue or play like the tiniest hole in the wall venue, but as long as the energy's there, like that's what I'm here for. As long as everybody's having a good time and like I get to do my thing on stage, I'm about it. Like
yeah,
we've
I'll be
played
honest,
like
like sorry.
oh, I was just saying like we played house shows that would rival like a lot of the shows that we played today, in my opinion, as far as like energetic and crowd wise.
Right. It doesn't always have to do with the size of the crowd. It's all about how people are popping off or reacting to the band and
Hmm.
Yeah, like because I'm doing videos about I'm kind of documenting the MySpace era on YouTube. I'm doing these documentaries about the band, so I'm seeing the difference because I've been like Lunar Shore, for example. You see them from going in shows at the same level in a gym or something, and then they're doing like festivals. And I'm not saying like the big shows seem bad. It seems cool too. But if I'm honest, what I'm noticing, the energy and the relationship with the fans and the bands and the smaller venues, it's a complete different thing. Like it feels like a big party or something. Like people are going on stage. It's like there's something to that, I guess. There's a lot of value, I feel like, with a smaller venue, proximity type thing. Like I'm seeing the difference, because it creates a distance when you do. Even if the shows are amazing and they're huge, there's a distance, even if you go crazy, it's like they're all the way there. So I feel like both can be cool.
Like my favorite shows are like ones where there's nowhere to run, and it's like you already
you
know.
cannot
It's
escape
like
the
when you
pit.
go to that show, exactly. It's like when you go to that show, you know, like, okay, I'm not getting out of here unscathed. I love shows like that. And it's like you'll see you can see a case like if you look at it's all those bands from back in the day when they had their DVDs come out, they would always put like the hometown shows on those DVDs, or they put like somewhere where the community is. It's like it may be a small venue, but like the community is just like wild there. And those shows are always the ones. That's what everybody. What in my opinion, what I'm chasing, what a lot of us are chasing, are the feeling of those types of shows.
How was the CD
Definitely.
release show for you guys? Because that was I'm assuming kind of what you guys are going for too. You kick off the tour, do that first show on the first leg, CD release drop all at once. How was it a cool vibe?
Oh, most definitely, man. Because it was ground zero. It's pretty much our home venue, and like it's just people I hadn't seen in years popping out and just nuts. Like it feels like the scene from that show felt like the scene from like way back in the day. Because back then, like in our scene, we had Wretched, you had the Demonstration, Glass Casket, Through the Eyes of the Dead was from like a couple hours away, and like that vibe of those types of shows, like going to a show like that, it's like I don't know, it's unexplainable to me, but it's just like I don't even know how to explain
You feel like the local shows now are they something feels different about them than back then?
Oh, for sure, because and I don't know. I'm 34, so I don't really know how a lot of kids think nowadays. But back in the day, it was me and my buddy Will from a car show. He was in Filth at one point too. Every weekend, we'd always go to a show. We'd always try and go to a show. Didn't matter who was playing, what was playing, and like we met so many good bands through that, and that's how we both got connected in the scene. Like it's meeting people, and the scene isn't necessarily the same way as it used to be. But I mean, like things change, people get older, yeah. But I don't know. It was a lot more fun back then, I'd say, because you had so many young bands coming up, and everybody played with everybody. You could be a metalcore band, you'd be playing with a black metal band that's trying to do something from the state, you know?
Yeah. I feel like a big part of that, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the era also really contributed a lot. Like things also change nowadays because first of all, people have 1 second of attention to give to anybody, and second of all, back then it was more of you would be stoked to discover things. We were seeking new stuff, new music and stuff, as opposed to now where it feels like I'm not saying obviously that people don't seek new music, but I'm just saying there's so much stuff to look at that it's like you almost have to be on their radar. Like you need to somehow, oh wow, okay, new music. But back then we were all kids with freaking LimeWire and just like online, like trying to say. So when you would see a show or something, like it was about like the moment. It was about like it was the whole thing basically, as opposed to now where I feel like you need 50 different things going on at the same time. And by the way, I'm including myself in that. Like as I'm working, there's like a podcast, sometimes music at the same time. Like I'm terrible with these things, but back then it was different. It was about the moment. It was about, I remember like when I would go to a show, it was everything. I still enjoy it, but like you could tell in the room, people were waiting for that a lot, you know? So I could be wrong, but I feel like the era definitely has an impact on that feeling.
I feel the closest we got to that was post-COVID.
Yes.
You know, like when people were really fiending for shows, like for the first year or so after COVID,
yes,
you know, everything was selling out. Like people were like craving going to live shows. I feel like, but it had been a long time since it hadn't felt like that, you know?
True.
Yeah, like in some ways, COVID, I guess I'll say for like touring bands now, in retrospect, it was somewhat of a blessing because it brought back like that urge in people who want to go see live music.
There we go. Okay.
I don't know what happened.
I don't even know how to describe what happened. I'm like,
it was like a robot hamster voice for a second.
Yeah. I was like, what is?
It sounded like someone was doing the rewind on the cassette, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like.
Well, it's on
But a
team.
DJ scratching or something. But hey,
It's on
it's
team.
good now. It's good.
We're talking about the past and other technology. If we go back to VHS, I mean, you said you're 34. I'm about to be 33. So you were definitely part of the generation where we would rent our movies and you would have to rewind it, but even if nobody was doing it, quite frankly, like you would have to rewind. It's so funny when you think about it. Like you would finish a movie and then you have to rewind the tape. Like you tell that to a kid now, they're like,
Yeah,
what
just press back, boomer.
yeah, what? It was amazing though. Let's be honest, renting movies. I understand
Oh,
it
yeah.
wouldn't work now, but it was awesome. You know, you get with your friends, whatever. Even if the movie was terrible, you wouldn't care because it's just like it's kind of an event more than now. It was awesome.
Yeah, I remember going to the video. We had a video store like like a mom and pop video store. And I'd always go in there. I was probably like 6 or 7, not old enough to rent the movies I wanted. And my mom was big into horror, which is what got me into horror.
Okay.
So I remember renting The Burning. I rented the original Sleepaway Camp as a child, which was terrifying. And
It's
yeah,
just,
Your
I
mom was
miss the
trying to
video
mess you
stores,
up.
man. Yeah.
it's the first
That's
time I
just
hear
so-
that in my life, dude. Because usually parents are like, "Oh, be careful with the art," and your mom was just like, "Yeah, this one is pretty good. You should watch just." You should
Oh
watch this
yeah.
one."
Like 100%. Because like I loved horror, and I'd always ask to see the movies. And she'd be like, "Well, you got to go in the movie, you got to go in the section to get them. I'm not just gonna go over there and get it for you." So I would be, as a kid, I was like, "Oh God, the movie boxes like terrify me as a child." And I'd go over there and pick one out. And then afterward, I had to sanitize my brain with a new episode of Gargoyles that came out.
Oh, that was so good, though. Oh my God, I cannot believe. For one, someone is talking about this one. It was so good. I don't want to change the topic of like horror or whatever, but like we had so many amazing shows. Like for me, Street Sharks, Gargoyle, the originals. But you guys remember that, like the Spider-Man animated, how good it was. Even the Batman one was
Oh, yeah.
amazing. We were really lucky if you look at what we had as like TV shows and stuff, Dragon Ball, all these things. It was
Yes, sir.
if you like anime, I don't know if you do, but Dragon Ball was a big one.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it. I haven't watched Daima yet. I've been meaning to watch Daima.
I don't think I did. I'm right now in the biggest decision of my life of rewatching completely Dragon Ball. So if I do that, it's going to take 20 years. So I won't be able to listen to anything else. So it's crazy when you think about it, though. Like now, if you start a series like an anime or anything, really, you have to. Like you got to plan, like, do I want to spend that much time? Like when you look and it's like 20, like there's some shows even that has like 19 season. You're like, well,
Yeah, I guess I'll quit my job.
yeah,
Gotta watch these shows.
that's going to be my life now, you know? So it's the worst one I would say is One Piece. You know, if we're talking about anime, it's like, I mean, like even if you start now, I'm pretty
There's
sure you
too
don't have time.
much. Like,
It's too much. It's just too much.
I'm
It's
gonna
your
be in
whole
my
life.
50s by the time that.
Yeah,
I've made it a point to never start any like Naruto. Same thing. Like there's just too much at this point. It's just there was no way I would catch up. Forget about it.
it's difficult.
I
for
got
sure.
through the original Naruto. I got through the original Naruto series, but like when it came to Shippuden, I was like, "Yeah, this is too much. I'm just gonna rewatch Dexter or some shit." Like that's what it would be. I just go back to watching something like that. But like, if you got like a 1 season anime, that's normally what I'm like. I try to find like the funky, like offbeat ones and check that out because they're like 1 season. And I can handle that. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't even know what One Piece is up to now. Like how many seasons?
Oh, Well, I can tell you right away, they're probably doing still the same thing. They go on an island, there's a boss, he's fighting it for 15 episodes differently until he finally unlock a new power, beats the boss, leave the island, repeat the whole process at the next one. Like, don't get me wrong, it's okay, but it's just like I know what's gonna happen. They're gonna go back on the boat. They're gonna maybe find a new character to join them. That's cool. And then they're going to go on an island and there's going to be 15 different fights. Each one has 20 episodes or something until the boss, we know he's going to win. He wins. Same thing. So for me, if it's long at the very least, if it's like a big series, just make it so that it's, things happen. And it's like, it's completely, like big things happen. So like it's changing the pace a little bit,
Make it fast too.
Yeah. Yeah, so many episodes. Like if we're talking about One Piece, so many episodes that you absolutely don't need. Like there's a complete one that's gonna tell you about a character, his entire life, what happened, like what he went through, and you see that character 5 seconds. He's there for like a minute. You're like, what? Why do I know his entire life right now? Like he's gone. He was there for like a second. So I'm like you, like I love 1-2 seasons, you know what I mean? Like just something quick that's cool and weird, maybe even, and then it's over. So
You got a favorite anime?
yeah, I'm curious.
Favorite anime? There's two that come to mind, but Yu Yu Hakusho is probably my favorite. Yu Yu Hakusho. And Yu Yu Hakusho, and then Fist of the North Star. I love Fist of the North Star.
Believe it or not, I still have to watch those. So you're just confirming. To be fair, there's a lot I still need to watch, but I heard good things. So.
And what about we were talking to horror movies. I'm curious if you have a favorite horror movie, series or movie or.
Okay. Favorite series? Because it was the first movie I owned on VHS too as a kid. It was the first Scream movie.
Oh.
Yeah, so the Scream series, I love the Scream series. And then, well, I owned, I had like little Disney movies and shit, but like my own, yeah, this is like, I wanted this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Scream. And then Maniac, like the 1980s Maniac. The remake's good too with Elijah Wood. It's really good, but the original was my favorite horror movie. Period. It's an old school slasher, cheesy as hell, but
that's the point.
It gets the job done. Yeah.
Do you also enjoy like the? Because like horror wise, I'm more personally, I love like all the paranormal type thing. You know what I mean? Like Insidious or Conjuring and stuff like that. Do you like that a little bit, or it's really not your thing?
I like those movies, but some of them are hit or miss for me.
Yep.
I definitely like the Conjuring universe. It's pretty sick. I did not like the Nun Part 2, but the first one was pretty. First one was pretty good. I thought a lot of people hate that movie.
Dude, you just reminded me of it. Actually, I kind of forgot there was a second one. It took me a long time, even the first one, to listen to it because I was like, I don't know about this one. And to be fair, when I watched it, I thought it was better than what I expected. Didn't see the second one, but what you just said, just I'm like, maybe I don't need to watch it in the end. So.
Yeah, there did not need to be a sequel to that. But, yeah.
I think it's easy to tell when it's just like a franchise is working well and they just, like, I don't want to shit on Saw, but it's just like when you do 10 movies, it's like, just, I think we got it, like.
Yeah.
When you do a movie that's called Final Chapter and then you do another one, it's kind of, I don't know.
You like 4 more movies after Final Chapter.
I'm like, I will feel bad. Personally, I would be like, guys, we cannot Like we called it final chapter. Like we can't, like we need to think about something else.
Is there a word for that? Like the opposite of like a prologue, like something that comes after like a
epilogue, maybe? Is that it?
Is that the
Epilogue?
term?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, an epilogue. They're all
Yeah, epilogue. Yeah.
That's kind of what they're doing. Maybe that's what they're doing.
It's a whole genre now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Saw the footnotes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let's be honest. It's rare that they do something in a lot of movies of something and it's still good. It's fairly rare. I mean, I don't even think I have an example. Like Fast and Furious could have been 3 movies easily. They made like 50,000 to the point where they're going into space, and it's not even. I'm not exaggerating. They really did that. Like they launch a car into space. Like I'm not a hater, but like when you're in an
Yes,
office,
you are.
kind of. No, I'm not. I still watched it, but I mean, when you're in an office to the point where you're pitching a car that's going to be launched into space, maybe it's time to be like, guys, I don't know. I think this is it. I think. I think we got it. So I never seen something that's 12 movies and it's still amazing. Personally,
how did it go from street racing to launching a car? Street racing to launching a car to space. That is insane.
I really don't get it. And
it's great though.
But you want to know the worst part though? I think I could be wrong, but if they would do that now, if they would go back, imagine a movie that it's set up in the end of 90s with like all the Tokyo cars and everything, and they would do that now, focusing on street racing and everything. I would be surprised if it wouldn't do well. Like I think it would do very well. The car community is absolutely huge. There must be a reason why they don't, but I feel like it would work, dude. Like, am I crazy?
That's the wishful thinking there, yeah.
Maybe I'm just too old now. Like I don't know, but I feel like it would be sick. Nostalgia is working. We said it, so
that's true.
I mean,
let's. I don't want to take up too much of your time, Dustin. But before letting you go, I'd love for you to maybe talk to us about what you guys have got going on. Because you guys have got some two banger tours coming up. But if there's anything else also that you'd want to mention, I'd love for you to maybe talk about the Browning tour for a second and this upcoming one with Broken Side and anything else you've got going on. Would love to have you share that.
Okay, yeah. Next month we'll be going out with Broken Side, Lil Raindrop, and our buddies in Resistor, which they were on our previous tour. We're going out with them, and then after that, in January, we'll be going out with the Browning, Dropout Kings, and the Defect. I'm super stoked for that one too, because I love the Browning and I freaking love Dropout Kings. So it's gonna be fun.
Another eclectic
then after
one,
that,
right?
like
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just a weird mix, but like, it'll give us a chance to be in front of different people. Maybe they'll like us, Hey, shoot my shot.
Do you guys have anything else going on right now? You guys just dropped a music video too, right? Op Stoppers?
Yeah. We just dropped a music video for Op Stoppers. It's off our album Southern Hostility. Yeah, it was the last one of the cycle. We're finally done dropping videos for this, so we're always in downtown. We're always in the studio, so we're constantly trying to write. But as far we have those two tours, and then we have a show that got announced for the Czech Republic festival called Fight Fest. I don't know how to say the name, and and I don't know how to say the name, so I know it translates to Fight Fest. Okay. And it's our day will be Signs of the Swarm, us, Kawanashi, Clawfinger. It's gonna be cool.
Sounds cool.
These shows always mean there's some touring around there. You don't got to confirm anything, but hey, well, I'm sure we'll see some more dates around those parts with some of those bands on that bill. But cool, man. But cool. Well, thank
And
you.
to respond to that in the chat. Oh,
What's
my
up?
bad.
Go for it. Oh yeah.
I was going
any
to tell them
chance
we
of
do have
Filth
vinyl coming. Yeah, we got vinyl coming soon. Stay
There we
tuned.
go.
It'll be something special though.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, looking forward to that. And yeah, thanks so much for taking the time
Thanks,
to do
man.
this. This was a cool convo, man. I appreciate you taking the time and doing this with me with us, man.
Dude, thank you guys for having me.
Of course, man. We'll keep in touch. All right, my man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Have a great rest of your night, man.